Hello everybody! Today we are going to make a spaghetti squash appetizer. Bill and I just came back from a long trip to China. This is the first dish from our trip that I'm gonna share with everybody because that's how amazing it is. I have never seen spaghetti squash on a Chinese menu. So when I saw it, it says Jingguo golden melon. I was like, okay, I have to try it. And as it turned out, it's spaghetti squash.
Oh, look at this. Spaghetti squash.
I think it is spaghetti squash.
I think so.
They're saying the Chinese name is Jingguo. Jingguo is like gold.
Jingguo.
Yeah,
like
so
a golden,
I think it is.
spaghetti squash
Yeah.
is like golden.
I think they probably marinate it in a way that it turns into like crunchy. So
Let's see.
I'm gonna try
Let's
it.
see.
I'm gonna try
Give
it.
it a try, Mom. What do you think?
I think it's so
Crunchy?
It's very crunchy. It's so good. Oh my god.
Okay.
So good.
I'm digging it.
What amazed me about this dish is a couple of factors. Is that, wow, I have seen a spaghetti squash on a Chinese menu. So that's number one. That was a huge wow factor for me. And then secondly, because of its unique texture, it has that nice natural crunch to it and with some very minimal spices. And then, you know what, you have a lovely dish. Hopefully you guys are gonna find it interesting and like it as much as I do. The steps are, we're gonna halve this spaghetti squash, take a half, steam it for like 12-13 minutes into the cold bath to stop cooking. At the same time, infuse some scallion oil. And then once the spaghetti squash is cool to handle, scoop out the flesh, squeeze out some liquids, extra liquid, and then basically marinate it with the infused oil and some spices. Chill if you want to, and then serve. So before you cut, make sure you wash this thoroughly because it's kind of dirty. A lot of people handle it before it got to you. Usually you see people cutting it this way, okay? And then you get this extra long strands, which is good for spaghetti, like people use it as spaghetti. But in this case, I want to cut it in half because then it creates this really nice length strand for our purpose. It's a bit of a struggle. Okay. And then we're going to scoop out all the seeds, and then it goes into the steamer. So this probably going to stay okay in the refrigerator for no more than a week, I would say. This seed is pretty plump. Maybe I can plant. I'm always looking for ways to plant more vegetables. Okay, I think this is good. Don't have to be perfect. Okay.
To the steamer.
Yes. So the water is boiling, and we're just gonna put it like that. No plates necessary. All right, set your timer for 12 minutes. While the spaghetti squash is being steamed, I'm gonna start the infused oil. I just washed this. It is very important that you dry them, okay? Because it's going to the oil. You have to dry them, make sure there is no water on the surface. Otherwise, it's gonna splatter and it's not gonna be pretty. So I'm just gonna do large chunks for the infused oil. And then the scallion greens, I'm going to cut it on a slant because my spaghetti squash are long. So I'm trying to mimic the shape of it. Cut it on an angle. And this is for the spices to go into the spaghetti squash later. Okay. That should be good. Gonna turn the heat to medium-low. I'm gonna put in 1 tablespoon of Sichuan peppercorn to infuse. This will take about 10-15 minutes until the scallion turns into this like dark golden brown. Make sure that you don't burn them. Okay. You want to see something fun?
Oh, yeah?
I got back from China.
Sure.
This little thing. Go like this. Voila.
Hey, cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
How many of those do you have?
About 100.
How much were they?
Very inexpensive.
That's so smart.
Right? It's like a shower cap, except that it's for your produce.
Actually, that's a good use for hotel shower caps that you don't want.
Yeah. So it's been 12 minutes. The timer just went off. Let's try it, see if it's done. Not quite. Sometimes when it's, oh, maybe it's not bad. I think I'm gonna give it another minute. Heat is a little high, so I'm gonna reduce the heat. See, if you had water on the scallion, it will be splattering like crazy. This is why it's important to dry the scallion. Okay. Yeah, you see that? You can flake it, and it should come off. So to take it out, you could use your kitchen towel and just lift it out like this, and goes into cold bath. Like this. Okay, stops cooking. So the oil is done after about 10 minutes. The scallion is crisp, but the Sichuan peppercorn still remains a little like reddish color, not blackened. So this is where it's so important to control the heat level. Once they are blackened, that means they're burned, and then your oil is gonna taste bitter. So now what we're gonna do is we can let it cool a little bit, and then scoop out all the scallions and the Sichuan peppercorn. We just want the oil for the dish. So while the oil is cooling, I just wanted to point out something. 4 tablespoons of oil seems like quite a bit for a cold dish like this, but some of the oil does get cooked off or absorbed by the scallion and the Sichuan peppercorn. So you're not gonna get 4 tablespoons at the end for the dish. All right, and it's about right. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take this flesh out. As you can see, it's quite soft now. And what I like to do is I go like this. I put the forks right where the skin is, and this way you fork out a big chunks at a time, like this. And what you could do is you can use your hand like this. And this is why I say to cut it like this, and then you just use your fingers to work the pieces to release the strands, and you end up with like perfect length strands. So you take it out like this, big chunk, and look how nice that is. This, the area that's closest to the skin is actually the strand stops producing, but you know, just include it in it. Slightly bigger chunks, no big deal. I hate wasting food. Ooh, is that crazy?
Yeah, it's cool.
It's like a miracle. My first time working with spaghetti squash. Definitely don't oversteam the spaghetti squash. Set the timer, it's very important. Otherwise, you're gonna lose the crunchiness. This is a pretty large spaghetti squash. I cooked it for like total 13 minutes. If it's a smaller one, you can, adjust it accordingly. Anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes would be ideal. Okay, so now I'm going to squeeze out It's great if you're making a smoothie. There's actually too much of this hot core pieces, so I took some out. about 4 cups. Okay. Squeezed out quite a bit. And now, I'm gonna put the scallion in there. And put the rest of the spice in. I'm adding the salt. Okay, sesame oil, the white pepper, powder only, no chunks. So this is our private stash of MSG that we keep it in the back of the cabinet, rarely ever use. But today we're gonna put a pinch in this. I think it's really gonna like make it spark. When I say a pinch, I mean a pinch. Very little bit. I think that should be it. You be the judge of that. So finally, we're gonna put in the infused oil. I'm just gonna strain it into the dish. Okay. Now you're gonna just mix it well. Look at this nice strands. So nice. So pretty too. You can also forget the fork and just go in with your hand. Really loosen every strand, all the pieces up. Isn't that pretty? Mm-hmm. You want to try it?
Sure.
Try a piece.
Mmm.
Crunchy, right?
Definitely better chilled though.
Yes, I think so. It's better chilled. All right, now we plate. Trying to mimic the restaurant. Go for some height. And that's the dish. How cool is that?
Very nice. Beautiful. Spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash. That always trips you up. It's called a spaghetti squash. Perfect. Now cut that bad boy.
Fight.
Maybe you say something like, I'm always looking for ways to eat more variety of vegetables.
Nah.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay.